Which athlete has dominated their sport more than any other in history? Is it Tom Brady with his 7 Super Bowl titles, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, and 22 seasons and counting in the league? Or maybe it was Michael Jordan, who won Rookie of the Year, the NBA Slam Dunk competition, 6 NBA titles, and 6 NBA Finals MVPs in 15 seasons. The answer is John Brezink. Gifted by God with the genetics that only a handful of people on the planet possess, and a desire to win like no one before him, John Brezink is still dominating the sport of arm wrestling after 40 years. I present to you the legend of John Brezink. John Brezink won his first world championship at the age of 20 years old and was not a bit surprised.
Did you have any idea when you left home that you would wind up world champion? You're still a rookie, 20 years old.
Yeah, I felt my chance for pretty good. I've been looking forward for this for about 2 years now.
By the time he was 22, he was the greatest arm wrestler in the world, winning the infamous over-the-top tournament made famous by Sylvester Stallone's movie of the same name, Over the Top, and the largest prize in arm wrestling history, a $250,000 big rig. Brezink chose to be a mechanic for Delta Airlines with the thought that this would give him access to travel the world. He wanted to prove that not only was he the greatest arm wrestler in the United States, but that he was the greatest arm wrestler on the planet. Here he is in Zloty, Poland at the Nemiroff Cup, having a war with European and world champion Taurus Ivakin. A 198-pound competitor for the first 20 years of his career, Brezink was never scared of a challenge. Here he is taking on the 7-foot-tall Georgian giant Tsar. So this takes us to 1993, nearly 20 years into John's incredible career, where he takes on this man, multiple-time world champion Cleve Dean, a man who at one point was nearly 600 pounds with a hand the size of a catcher's mitt. John shows his versatility as he simply grabs the big man low, turns him into a hook, and takes care of him in short fashion. It appeared John's time at the top of the arm wrestling world was quickly coming to an end. Devin Larratt defeated him soundly at Arm Wars 6-0 in a super match. In 2009, the very next year, he was the feature of the documentary Pulling John, where he had to make a decision whether to retire at the top of his game or give in and turn it over to the rising superstar Travis Bagent of West Virginia or Alexei Voivoda of Russia. Were John's skills simply eroding that quickly, or was he just bored? John didn't retire in 2009, but he cut his arm wrestling schedule back tremendously. It appeared he had simply lost his love for the sport. Things changed in 2014 when the Ultimate Arm Wrestling League hit the scene with a $10,000 super heavyweight prize and a world championship belt. Now keep in mind that John is a light heavyweight, but the big money was in the super heavyweight class that day. Monster Michael Todd, the reigning super heavyweight champion, had not been pinned in 3 years. Here's what happened.
Where are you going, buddy? Get his arm up on him. Arm stop.
The center of the table in a the leader in the red wall. This is a wild one. And Brzezinski drops upon the back pressure. Michael Jones.
With arm wrestling's popularity rising at a staggering rate, another new organization had come into existence. The WAL, the World Arm Wrestling League. They offered great prize money, television time, and something that had never been seen before, the Legacy Hammer. Out of the blue, 2015, John Brzezinski shows up for the championship. Brzezinski and Larratt had not pulled since the 6-0 defeat in 2008. As fate would have it, they met in the quarterfinals of the winners bracket. Best 2 out of 3, winner pulls for the championship and the Legacy Hammer. Let's see what happens.
Brzezinski's speed, he will want to finish quickly. Devon Larratt trains on the counter. And a bail there.
You were just about to go right. Oh, yeah, right.
Looking to finish quickly. His hand and wrist strength are superior. And he goes for the early top roll. But Devon Larratt has put the brakes on, and now he will start to constrict and squeeze his opponent to the center of the table. Feels his endurance is better, as does John Brzezinski. Brzezinski will be trying to calculate a way through here and keep rising, applying pressure up into the hand and wrist of Devon Larratt, but Larratt is in a fabulous position, moves to the back of the pad, and he will make Brzezinski work here. Even if Larratt can finish, he won't do so. He'll just wait it out and try to burn Brzezinski. In a fantastic position, and now he presses up, trying to apply pressure into the hand and wrist of John Brzezinski. Devon Larratt knows he's in control, and Brzezinski concedes.
What do you know?
Dangerous moment for Larratt. He must get to the straps.
Close your hands.
John Brzezinski will look to top roll. Does so! John Brzezinski's hand and wrist are iron. No opportunity to slip there. Look how John Brzezinski learned, was educated from his first experience with Larratt and didn't allow the Canadian to slip and make the strap. Wow.
So we're even at 1-1 here. Best 2 out of 3. Right-handed heavyweight semifinal. The winner moves on to the final with a shot at 20 grand.
Ominous signs for Devon Larratt. John Brzezinski has worked a strategy and will try to capitalize. Controls the hand. It's Brzezinski with the win. The perfect storm with the win. Frustration for Devon Larratt. But John Brzezinski once again underlines his credential, improving a legacy which has no equal.
On Brzezinski on the left, Marcio Barbosa on the right. Best 2 out of 3.
And John Brzezinski will be massively confident here. He's got an outstanding record against Marcio Barbosa, but far more important is the fact that he's much fresher coming into this final. And look at that early victory, and look at the face of Marcio Barbosa there. He looked really concerned because John Brzezinski's wrist and hand looked unstoppable. Brzezinski was in a war with Devon Larratt in the first round of their pull, but then came through cleanly. Barbosa, on the other hand, a dogfight from round 1 to 3, and look at that again! Marcio Barbosa is in desperation mode, but has no opportunity to calm the storm, and John Brzezinski blows through to the 20 grand prize.
Some incredible numbers from that match. Brzezinski controls his breathing and his heart rate, while Barbosa reached 224 beats per minute. John Brzezinski, the wall hammer. He'll also get the $20,000 that comes with the victory for winning this right-hand heavyweight final.
John Brzezinski's hand and wrist were the difference in this match. He's just such a complete arm wrestler.
With all of your accomplishments, where does this rank?
This is huge. This is right up there, right up with over the top. It's, I mean, the deepest 225 class that I've been in 25, 30 years. Amazing tournament.
I mean, speaking of over the top, you were so young. Now you've been through so much, you have so much experience. What is your legacy, John?
The experience, well, I'd rather have the youth or the experience, but no, it's been a great run. I'm happy to still be here.
Congratulations, a true champion.
After avenging his loss to Devin Larratt, winning $20,000 and the Legacy Hammer, John Brezink decided to retire from the sport of arm wrestling. There was no announcement. There were just simply no more tournaments. He made a few appearances, hosted a few practices, but for 6 years, the man simply sat on the couch and enjoyed being a father and a grandfather. In 2021, John was called out by a 300-pound rising superstar by the name of Chance Shaw. John thought about it for a little bit and said, you know what? Let's see what I got left in the tank. Well, trust me, there's a whole lot left in the tank, and there's a whole lot left to tell of this story, so don't go anywhere. So the match was announced on July 13th, 2021, to be pulled on July 31st, exactly 18 days later. Now, keep in mind that John does not weight train. He never has. He simply gets his pulling, his strength, his power, his technique, all from pulling on the arm wrestling table. So, with only 18 days to go, only thing John could possibly do is make himself sore. So he is literally coming off the couch after 6 years, pulling a 300-pound super heavyweight, the number one ranked arm wrestler in all of Florida, Chance Shaw. I ate breakfast with John and Travis that morning, the day of the event. John seemed to be pretty relaxed, but he said that the biggest concern that he had was the betting stakes and so many people betting on him. He said, I don't really care whether I win the match or not. I'm just here to test myself and see where I'm at right now. But the thought of losing my friends and fans money because they bet on me makes me extremely nervous. And for that reason, I am pretty nervous about this event.
Gentlemen, do not Chance, get flat! Right there! Get ready! We got a match! Make some noise, he's in trouble now! Ladies and gentlemen! What we got? One foul? Wait, hang on, my man. You relax. We'll take care of it. Don't say nothing. Don't talk about it. We got it. One foul? One foul. Let's All right, here we go. John Brezink on your left, the young man Chance Shaw on your right. Go! Let's go! There we go! Watch for the power of Chance Shaw! It's over, baby. It's all over, ladies and gentlemen.
He's back. As unconventional as ever, most arm wrestlers take 3 to 4 months to train for a super match. Just as John took the match with Chance Shaw with 18 days notice, he sets out on a super match tear where he pulls not 1, not 2, but 9 super matches in the next 12 months. each a step in the ladder to climb back to the top of the number one ranking in his class. After losing his first round to Chance Shaw, Brezink won his next 9 matches, defeating Chance Shaw 3-1, Dmitry Kokin 3-0, and Paul Lynn 3-0. While his side pressure looked great, his back pressure was incredible. It was apparent that his hand and wrist and his endurance was far from the man we had seen for the last 30-plus years. Now, John doesn't work out, so what's John's plan? John lines up more super matches and decides to fine-tune his game on the table. It's at this point during the comeback that Brezink makes a crucial mistake. He accepts a match with his old rival, Devin Larratt. Now, this isn't the same Devin Larratt from 2015. He's added 65 pounds and a King's move to his arsenal. While John's hand and wrist is coming along nicely, his endurance is nowhere near ready for Devin Larratt. John makes a match out of it in the first round, but like so many before him, Devin gassed him out and beat him 4-0. Back to the drawing board.
I think we're about to get a start. I think it's about to get going.
No moving.
Thumbs are going down. Watch for Bill Collins
Close
now being
hands.
closed down the house.
Go!
They're nearly ready to go. Tries to power down to the pad. Devin Larratt, he's been to it and he's got the brakes on. But this is a great start. Sweeps to the side, trying to collect, but now Devin Larratt starts to climb and apply that pressure up into the hand of John Brezink, and John is tight. He's trying to contain, and he gives it.
John then set his sights on a close friend and another living legend, Engin Terzi of Turkey. Over 200 first-place finishes, 9 world championships, and the only man to ever win a world championship in 5 different weight classes. His resume speaks for itself.
Imagine they get tired now and it's all.
Brezink's next match was highly anticipated as he pulled Jazier Zolov of Russia, a man who had recently defeated Todzilla, one of North America's strongest human beings. Brezink showed why he is still the man, winning 3-0 with ease. In the third round, Brezink showed off his amazing back pressure and pronation as he can opener to Zolov for the win. Why? Because he could. Next up on the John Brezink comeback tour was the highly anticipated Kentucky Muscle Arm Wrestling Championships. This is where John Brezink pulls Pavlo D of Ukraine in another 5-round super match. Rounds 1 and 2, as anticipated, went to the straps. John holds center, patiently waits, uses his incredible side pressure, and pins Pavlo with ease. In round 3, as John often does, he likes to test his limits. Pavlo's main power is in the hook, and that's exactly where John went in round 3. The match lasted quite a few seconds, but John was never in any danger, proving that not only could he win in a top roll, but he could win in a hook as well. Did I mention that John is back? John's next match comes to us by way of Core Sports and Engin Terzi's East versus West 3 masterpiece from Istanbul, Turkey. Brezink takes on Zurab Tabariza, another of the Georgian Giants. In a 5-round match, John makes a few mistakes, and this one gets interesting. I'll let you see for yourself. John Brezink's most current super match carried him to Little Rock, Arkansas, to Monster Michael Todd's Monster Factory 2, where he pulled none other than Corey West, the biggest man in arm wrestling, all 440 pounds of him. With Corey West having a hand that people have said is virtually impossible to top roll, John seemed content to stay in the hook until match 4 when Corey beat him easily inside. Something had to change in round 5. Let's see what John comes up with. Brezink decided to top roll in round 5, and they had an absolute war before finally slipping. This was just enough to wear down the massive hand and wrist of Corey West, allowing John to maintain a little more up pressure and a little more pronation while inside the hook in round 5, and as you can see, he eventually wore the big man down for the win. There's no doubt in my mind that Tom Brady is the greatest football player to ever step on an NFL field. 7 Super Bowl titles in 22 long seasons. That's impressive, but it's a team sport. Without great linemen and great receivers, Tom Brady would not be where he is today. Well, MJ was definitely the greatest of all time in the NBA. 6-time world champion, but even he needed Scottie Pippen, a host of sharpshooters, and even maybe Dennis Rodman. And plus, he was only dominant for 15 seasons. Sorry, LeBron. Michael's always going to be the GOAT, and there's nothing you can do about it. No matter how many championships you end up winning by dragging in great players around you, it's not going to be the same. Robert Horry has 7 world championship rings, and he's not the GOAT either. Sorry, buddy. 64 world titles. 500-plus championships, winner of a $250,000 big rig. After having a birthday just last week and turning 58 years old, 22 years after being recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the greatest arm wrestler of all time, John Brezink is still in the top 1% of the arm wrestling world. Sports fans, I present to you the most dominant athlete of all time, John Brezink.